Can anybody hear me now? Guys, there's no sound still? Okay. Great. Let me check. Yes, what? Sound back? Great. Yay. All right, so I'll say everything again. Thank God. Okay, guys, I've been having issues with sound. I have two microphones here and I tried, but I'm glad it's working. So anyways, I want to thank everybody that helped me out through comments, through being in the chat, and especially for Michael Crawford from the Young Jerks for inviting me on Friday. And I want to welcome anybody that is new to this channel, and especially the people who were there giving me pointers and in the chat, letting me know they were there, that have been in this channel since the beginning. I want to thank you guys. And I have some names. EMJ80, thank you. Camry84, Camry Girl 84, Coca, Trina, Grassi, Sassy Pants, Otto, Karina, Ask Bob, Jackie McGee, Cindy Dewey, Michael Aaron, Miranda Rutherford, Jessica Souza, and probably a lot of people that I forgot. So I want to thank you guys so much. If you are new to the channel, we do all kinds of things here. Yes, I do talk about body language, but tonight we're going to do pretty much a summary. We're going to have fun. I have some funny clips that hopefully you guys are going to enjoy. And we're going to talk a little bit about this case against Kara Reed. It is a serious case. There is a serious victim. There is a serious family, and she is seriously facing life in prison. But I do try to make light of what I can, and I use a lot of sense of humor. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't take it, in an offensive way. Thank you so much for everybody being here. I'm excited, and we're gonna start. Let me just
approach.
Yes. Oh no, not yet. Okay, so we're gonna start by first of all celebrating, right? We're gonna celebrate because guess what? The prosecution case has rested. That was great to hear. No more what if anything. No more so many things. The case against Kara Reed, she's facing 3 serious charges. She's facing second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating under the influence, and leaving the scene with somebody that was dead. Those are the charges, right? So we're going to go through all of the evidence, not in a boring way. We're just going to do a summary so we can remind ourselves of what she has been going through. And this is my first slide today, which is the celebrate. Celebrate, because Lolly is done, right? No more what if anything. Now, Lolly doesn't even say that anymore so much. He's just become like, okay, let me attack this person's, like, even though she's a doctor since 1970, let me attack her because she doesn't know what she's talking about. Whatever, Lolly. Whatever, Slimy. So, with the first celebration, we have a little song that I created, a little montage, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And if you're new,
investigate.
Approach.
Yes.
Approach.
Yes. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained. No, I'll allow that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call press. Objection. May we approach? May we approach?
Investigate.
Approach.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call press.
Is that her name?
Just briefly. Just briefly.
So you've moved on from that. So, see, I don't see that as being the report. I don't see that as being detailed. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained. No, I'll allow that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call press.
No, I'll allow that. No, I'll allow that. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained.
you can dance if you want.
Jackson, that's it. One more question.
May we approach?
Okay.
No more Lolly. Yay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call press. Thank you, Your Honor. Call press. Thank you, Your Honor. Call press. May we approach?
No, I'll allow that.
So you've moved on from that. So, see, I don't see that as being, the report, I don't see that as being detailed. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained. No, I'll allow that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call with rest.
Repetitive testimony.
I don't intend to, Your Honor. Well, he didn't because the court struck it.
It should not have been done.
Well, Your Honor,
Go ahead.
respectfully, the Commonwealth left the jurors with a misimpression intentionally.
So, but this was specific. We should have, and it wasn't objected to, right? So, Mr. Lally's question wasn't objected to.
Michael
Is there an objection?
Yes,
Okay, the objection sustained.
Objection.
May we approach?
I don't think
Okay.
he said that, but we'll let that.
All right, so Mr. Lally's question wasn't objected to.
Approach.
Yes,
Approach.
yes. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained. No, I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained. No, I'll allow that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call with
Is
rest.
that correct?
Yes.
I gotta give him
Right now, correct?
Yes, after the
Objection.
sir, yes.
Who's the retarded client?
May we approach?
I was referring to Ms. Reed again.
May we approach?
Unprofessional language.
Approach.
Yes.
Who you referring to?
Ms. Reed.
Got an
Thank you, Your Honor. Call with rest.
Who was it you were referring to?
Okay, thanks for bearing with me with my little silly song, guys. So I'm gonna read some of your comments to say welcome, Stephanie Lewis. Yes, she says Lally is a bully now with a bass in his voice after being yelled at by Auntie Bev on daily for 29 days. Who knew exactly? All of a sudden, he doesn't say what if anything all the time. He doesn't say who if anyone. He's just like, well, you're not a doctor, really, are you? And he just starts yelling at people and being like a real bully. Well, I'll allow that. And yeah, like I had to clip some of the audio from this trial because it's just priceless, right? She says to the defense, you never objected to that. And when it comes to Lolly, she says, is there an objection? Sustained. All right, Aunt Bev. All right. Bibi Collins, I love it. For you, the heavy breath. I'm so annoyed. She's just so annoyed all the time. Hello, Lucinda. Hello, Kim. Buckle up, guys. It's gonna be fun. Ruth. Hello, Kim. Lolly Stoves. That's right. And mystery stinger, whether Karen gets acquitted or not, the FBI will indict the Alberts, Trooper Proctor, and Tooley with their 3074-page report. Yep. All right. And then just subscribe today, Stephanie. Yay. Okay, I said hi to you. Welcome to the family. So now, taking a little bit more serious, we're going to take a look at this week's highlights, because how could we do a summary without looking at exactly where we have been most recently, right? So this week, as we all know, was the last week of the prosecution. We have started with the defense case, and we heard from Lucky on Friday, right? We heard from Lucky. So we're just going to play a little clip. It's a minute and 40 clip. So to resume a little bit of what we've seen this week.
And when you made that first pass by that residence at 2:45 in the morning, sir, with your headlights on, what, if anything, did you see on the front lawn in the area of the flagpole?
I saw nothing.
If there had been a 6'2", 200-pound man lying in the snow there, would you have seen it?
Objection.
Sustained.
And what policies does the DPW have regarding cars parked in the street during a blizzard where there's plowing to be done?
We are to notify the supervisor. At that point, he will make a phone call to the police, and depending on if they can have the resident move it, it gets moved. If not, it gets towed.
And with regard to that policy, did you comply with that policy in those early morning hours?
No, I did not,
Why?
because I was being courteous to the Albert family.
Man.
Right. So you waited until he moved his Jeep out of the way,
Yes.
and then you pulled in.
Yes.
Where in the driveway did you pull in?
I believe I pulled to the left side of the driveway.
You would have been closest to the garage, or was there a car between you and the garage?
I would have been closest to the left side walkway. I don't think there was a car in front of me, but I'm not 100%.
Mr. Albert, did you move that black Ford Edge at any point that night after you got home?
No.
It was a Ford Edge.
So we brought you out to the parking lot at the skating rink that you were meeting at, specifically showed you a Ford Edge and asked you if that was the vehicle.
Correct.
Now, do you know the difference
Correct.
between, if you were to see
Fully.
a Ford Edge at nighttime in a snowstorm, the difference between a
Yes,
Ford Edge
he
and a
does,
Cherokee?
Lolly. He does.
What's the difference?
Uh-huh.
The taillights in the back.
What about it?
Yeah.
Ford Edge is a more round. The whole back facade is a little bit more round. A Jeep Cherokee are more square.
Now what? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? Okay, so we're gonna go straight to the other video. This is a little bit longer with the Emmy and the cause of death and some of the attorneys arguing. Hello, Lisa Lee. I'm so glad that you made it. Yay. Yes, and Lolly, I mean, seriously, he's been condescending to Dr. Russell and to Lucky. Dude, read the room. Read the room. People who are like themselves. People who are, you know, hard workers and humble, and like, we're not trying to get away with all these things. Like when Jennifer McCabe and Mac Alberts sit there doing all this word salad and gaslighting. This is just a simple guy just answering, sir, I was there, I was at work. Yes, I saw it. No, I didn't. And we like that. We can see it right through. So let's take a look at this week's important testimony.
Your Honor, essentially what Commonwealth was seeking and had been seeking was just in reference to that, as far as who did what and who was responsible for what and what were the items reviewed, and is that the totality of it? Very simply, what the Commonwealth had been seeking for the most part was covered today.
Okay, so very important, right? Let's take a pause here. The Commonwealth was seeking to see who did what. He's talking about Dr. Wolf and Dr. I have his name. I'll come back to you guys on this. He's talking about the two ARCA guys, they're witnesses that are going to testify on behalf of the defense. And he's saying, we just wanted to know who did what based on their report, because they always said we did it. So we are satisfied with this. So the judge is not going to be like, okay, great. So if the defense is good, the prosecution is good, I'm the gatekeeper, and I'll just say, great, let's go. No. She doesn't stop there. She's like, I want to insert myself on this.
Okay. All right. I have some questions as to the scope of the testimony of the witnesses.
I don't think they're qualified to testify to. I don't think either of them is qualified to testify to that.
John O'Keefe's injury to his arm are inconsistent with having been struck by a vehicle at 24 miles per hour.
I don't know. I am not a reconstruction expert. I'm not a biomechanics expert.
I mean, ultimately, that's what biomechanical engineering is how does an injury occur, why did it occur, and in what type of setting did the injury actually occur? What type of loading and what type of kinematics do you need to have this injury actually occur?
Dr. Rentschler, though, I have some concerns. It's clear to me that in Massachusetts, biomechanical engineers are not qualified to testify as to medical causation of an injury. Only an MD can do.
But isn't he a doctor? Dr. Rentschler? Why do they call him doctor? Am I being like, I don't understand. Okay. He's a biomechanical engineer, lady, and you're not sure if he's qualified enough. And Lolly's like, neither of them are qualified enough. Excuse me, sir? No, I don't think so. Tim Bell. Hello, welcome, Tim. Finally able to catch a live. Yay! You were awesome at the Young Jokes the other day. Great channel rocks. Love this. Free Kara Reed. Yes. I actually didn't realize so many people are going to be doing lives today at the same time, because usually I try to stay away from, you know, when people that are covering this do the lives. But I had scheduled like a week ago, so unfortunately, we'll just watch them later. Corina, she's always got questions. Sit down, Beth. Yes, just go back to take your break. Go take a break. Dr. Rentschler, he has a PhD. So please, guys, school me, help me out, chat, and teach me how this works, because he's a biomechanical engineer, right? But he's called doctor. Is that the same? Is that why he's called doctor? Or does that mean that he also has some type of medical degree? Please help me out because I do not know. So PhD, postdoctorate, right? Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking because I don't want to sound too stupid. Lisa Lee, maybe Beth needs a breathalyzer installed in her vehicle. All right.
If I may, I don't think that's her actual opinion. I initially didn't think of it in these terms as it's phrased on the cover page of the report. If you look at the actual opinion
I
and
was looking at
findings,
the last page. Are they the same on the front and the back?
I think the front is a little more definitive and concerning. The back, I think, more as to it's consistent with a whole multitude of different things. So the fact that I don't really think that's an opinion at all, to be honest with you.
You are not an opinion at all.
All right, I'll take a look at this more closely, give you a decision Thursday. All right, I did not expect it to go this quickly. We could have had the jury here, but I'm sure you all could use the afternoon to prepare.
Whose fault is that,
All right,
Beth?
Mr. Lally, let me know Thursday if you need. Are you ready to go forward at least with your case on Thursday?
Beth is probably gonna go practice her clam dance. I don't know if you guys saw Aunt Deb. He makes these cool clips, short clips, and he does great impressions of her. And he's always saying that she has to practice her clam dance. I think he's actually doing a live today as well. So if you're here, awesome, thank you, and please check out his live afterwards. But yeah, she's like, well, we could have had the lady. This is your job. You're always taking breaks. Like you sit down, you're like, I need a break. I need a sidebar, please. And now you're complaining that you sent the jury home.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let me know Thursday if you need additional time. If I let Dr. Russell testify, how that impacts our schedule.
Oh, she must
Absolutely.
watch.
All right, but I don't want that to be a concern of yours, how it impacts the schedule. That's my concern.
That is so bad. Look at Yanetti's face and look at Karen's face. She's talking to Lolly after this 8 weeks of wasting our time. We're gonna go over their witnesses, all of them. We're not gonna go in depth, but we're just gonna look at them. 8 weeks, and she's like, "It's not your concern, Lolly. This is my concern. What about the defendant? What about the attorneys? Like, please, Aunt Bev."
And I just need to know. All
Look at
right,
Karen's face.
so
She's
anything
pissed
else?
about
For the comment.
I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you Thursday morning.
that. See ya.
And there are two concerns here, the competency of the witness's testimony, how much she can testify to, whether she should testify at all. What is it you're asking me, Mr. Lally?
I'm an emergency room forensic pathologist, just recently retired. Chief
Doesn't have enough
medical
experience,
executive
right?
for the state of California at the Corcoran State Prison. Completed at least 16 years of formal education beyond high school, which includes college, and then 4 years of medical school, then 4 years of emergency medicine residency and internship, and then 4 years of pathology residency, which includes 2 years of anatomic and 2 years of forensic pathology. And I
what
subsequently
else?
became a police officer here in Massachusetts. Yeah, so I attended Northeastern University part-time.
And there are two concerns here, the competency of the witness's testimony.
Received a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. It was in emergency medicine, and USC is a very large trauma center. It was in emergency medicine, and USC is a very large trauma center. Well, it's one of the busiest in the United States.
Yes, BB Collins, wasn't it something like 68 witnesses? Yes, I believe that is the exact number because I had to go through it. Yes, 68 witnesses, and he asked almost all of them what the weather was like, and he asked what the band was playing. And I remember when Ryan Nagel was talking, and he asked something about the ex-girlfriend and how long were they not together for. And now that he had the ME there and that he had the important witnesses, he was running out of time. Like, sir, you should have planned better. Okay, Christine Blanchard. Doesn't, so PhD have to be medical to be a doctor of medicine? Doesn't your PhD have to be medical to be a doctor of medicine? I'm not clear on the PhD yet. I'm not clear, but I'm sure you guys are going to help me with that. Stephanie, shall allow Higgins and Trooper Paul to talk about their medical opinions? Yes. A little, and they should not have been able to do so. So she definitely should allow Dr. Rentschler to testify about it. I don't think she has a choice at this point, because after the ME said, I am not a biomechanical engineer, it put her in a very delicate position if she does want to deny him of testifying, because she has no reason whatsoever. It's not a violation of the disclosure, the discovery, right? It's not a violation of that, because that was what they were talking about with Dr. Russell, because Dr. Russell just showed up. But the two witnesses that testified in the federal grand jury, I believe, that testified for the FBI case, they are well known that they had a position to share on this. So the defense, the only thing is that they didn't have the substance of their testimony, but they did know who they were, their experience, and that they were going to testify on behalf of the defense. So anyways.
Mr. Lally, is there portions, if I permit her to testify, are there portions focused specifically on the part of her opinion where she says, I guess the defense expects her to be able to say she will testify that these injuries are inconsistent with having been struck by a vehicle, road rash, or scratches from broken glass or taillight material.
And why is she telling him what to say? Focus specifically on this when you argue your motion to me, because that's what I want to hear. Okay, so here we go. B.B. Collins, thank you. PhD and MD are two different types of doctorate. You can have a PhD in any discipline. Thank you. Okay, so then they're called doctor, but it's in another discipline. I understand. He's not an MD. He doesn't have that degree. Understand. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Swoosh, I rewatched Coco Albert today. Lots of tongue jutting, hiding lips. Lots of it. And Black Thunder. Wonder if Dr. Russell has her own bad signal. She's such a bad bitch. She really is. Like, I really admire a person like that. I mean, she just goes for everything, and this judge is trying to undermine her. And she came back with a force, because she definitely heard what the judge talked about her, said about her, because when she came back, she was like, this is what I reviewed. I reviewed this, and that. I'm recently retired, but here's my experience. And even though they limited her testimony, she's still, we saw her whole testimony. So anyways, let's keep going.
Material. I think you have an uphill battle on that part, Mr. Jackson.
So I did a 2 years in anatomic pathology and 2 years as a fellow in forensic pathology at the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office.
So you did 2 full residencies after you became a doctor, is that right?
That is correct.
But as far as the experience when it comes to motor vehicle crashes or pedestrian crashes, of which the court is well aware, there are a litany of different types of interactions a pedestrian can have with a motor vehicle in a collision sequence. And simply saying, well, there was no injuries to the leg, so it couldn't have been a motor vehicle collision is just plain wrong. And
You had a separate university?
Yes.
And you had separate responsibilities as a professor in that role?
Yes.
Were you also teaching legal medicine and forensic medicine in that capacity?
That is correct. It was a master's level program.
How long were you an ER physician in total and an attending physician for Los Angeles County USC Medical Center?
29 years in total. 4 of those were in training, and the rest were as a supervisor. And
of your 29 years, 25 of your 29 years, you were supervising others?
Correct.
Meaning other doctors?
Other doctors, yes.
Teaching other doctors?
Yes.
And teaching medical students?
Yes, and seeing their cases. Once they examined the patient, they would present their case or tell me about the case, and then I would go in and see those patients in addition to my patients.
I venture to guess that it's likely that those are probably also going to be, in her opinion, consistent with many other causes beyond that, if she's being reasonable.
She reviewed it. She must not have seen it or opened it or reviewed it. I didn't know. But that's what I'm saying. everything that's in the disclosure.
If she's permitted to testify, you led her through quite a bit today. You won't be able to. I mean, she struggled with to what degree of certainty she held an opinion. She struggled to what she viewed. She didn't write a report. I have to consider all of these things too, as the gatekeeper, as to whether she can actually assist the jury. So I'm not deciding this right here. Mr. Lally, if I do permit her to testify, I will give you time to absorb this testimony and to find an expert in rebuttal for this. How long might something like that take?
How long?
Not terribly long. As far as preparation, I can't give an exact time frame on that. As far as a rebuttal witness, I'd say a week at the most.
A week from today?
Yes.
Why don't you start looking at least? All right, well, I decide I won't know until Thursday.
Sure.
All right. All right, anything else on this witness?
Submitted.
All right, next witness, please.
With regard to
All right, so that is all for now. For now on the funny clips, because we're going to talk a little bit about the. Wait, am I? Okay, I'm looking at another part. Let me see. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the ME, the testimony this week about the cause of death, the injuries, and the cause of death was hypothermia and injuries to the head, right? Not your typical case of pedestrian versus vehicle per the medical exam.
The arm injuries that you observed, would those be consistent with scratches from either glass or a piece of plastic or a piece of metal?
And this is the body language small clip I did on her, but I don't want people to misunderstand. Like people are saying, oh, you're saying she's not telling the truth. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that her facial expressions are showing disagreement towards the question, because we usually have to look at the trigger and we look at the clusters, right? We look at, is there something making that person uncomfortable? And the uncomfortability of the question was, Lally was trying to force her to say, well, but it is possible that the car hit her, right? And the smooth object broke his neck from, hit his head and did that and didn't do anything to his body. So she was like, like a disappearing lips, kind of like disagreement, and closing her eyes, which is a sign of rejecting the information. Okay, so not any sign of, she was very courageous, this doctor, to go in to go against what the police was trying to have her testify to, or even influence her to put in her report. She said, listen, this is my name. When I signed that report, that's my name on it. I am not going to go with your story unless you have substantial proof. And she asked for it and she didn't get anything extra. So her decision was to write undetermined. So let's keep going.
It's possible.
And the injuries that you observed, would that be consistent with injuries that you observed in other cases of a pedestrian collision?
They're not the classic pedestrian injuries that we observe, no.
Thank you, Tim. Everybody say hi to Jeff.
Injuries that you observed to the back of Ms. Roki's head, skull fracture, would that be consistent with a fall to the ground?
It could be.
Would that be consistent with being projected by an object, say in a pedestrian collision, and then striking your head on the ground?
It's possible.
Well, an animal inflicts injuries. The type of injury depends in part on the actual type of contact and how much force is applied by that animal, in addition to any relative movement between the animal and the victim in this case. So, for instance, in the law enforcement dog bites.
Any specifics about police canines?
Okay.
Does the pattern of injuries that you see appear consistent with an animal or a large dog?
Yes.
Does the number of injuries that you see here relegated to just the right arm, is that also consistent with an animal or large dog?
Yes, it can be.
Is the direction of the injuries, or the consistency of the direction of the injuries, or the parallel injuries, is that also consistent with an animal or large dog attack?
Yes.
Based on everything that we've discussed today, Doctor, is it your opinion, based on a reasonable degree of medical certainty, that these injuries were from an animal attack, possibly a large dog?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a break here real quick. I'm going to read some of your comments. So, Jeff, I think I have to disagree with you here. You're saying, oh, no, dogs bite, they don't scratch. I mean, are you being sarcastic? Because I have a little dog and I have so many scratches. Like, he scratches me all the time. I try to, take him to the groomer all the time, and he doesn't let me cut his nails, but absolutely, like, he scratches me all the time. And then I want to say, okay, K-Pick. Hi, K-Pick. I'm curious if Lolly will put up anyone for a rebuttal case. If he does, who is he going to put back up? Trooper Paul. Yes, I've heard. I mean, I'm very confused because I hear things, right? I hear that they're going to be done this week and the jury is going to have the case on Friday. So if that's the case, so what? We got 1 day for the defense and then the prosecution is going to come back for the rebuttal. But it is strange because for a long time, it seemed like a lot of these witnesses were already rebutting the defense's case. So I don't know. It looks like, yes, Trooper Paul. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to answer because I don't know. We'll find out and we'll know more from people that know because I don't know that answer. Now, Tim Bell, I agree. The sound effects are great. Oh, thank you. I love it. I love it. I love it. You bring a whole different vibe to try to watch, in my opinion. It's fantastic. BB Collins, I loved her body language towards Eliza. That's the defense counsel, Little, right? It was like she was letting her know, she was asking the right questions and agreed with her theory. Yeah, she did a great job, the attorney, at asking questions. So now we get to the nitty gritty. We get to the prosecution case against Karen Reed, right? We have been here, guys, for a long time. We have been here for 8 weeks, 68 witnesses, and 29 days, okay? This is Lolly, and I can never really find a picture, a good picture of the assistant ATA that works with him because she's always like hiding her face. So it is what it is. I only have Lolly here. But we're going to take a look at this. I know a lot of people want to say there's nothing. And there's two sides completely separate, right? Some people say she did it 100%. Some people say there's nothing. So, what is the case? What did they bring? So in I can't speak right now. In the opening statements, what did they have? So the prosecution said they were going to put in a case where they were going to show the defendant's car missing pieces of tail light were found, that she was the one to insist driving by 30 Fairview. So I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to start rebutting if I remember anything from the evidence presented, okay? So defendant's car missing pieces of tail lights, okay? Sure, but we have Jen McCabe, we have Lieutenant or Sergeant Barrows, and we have Kerry Roberts, 3 people testifying that Karen Reed's car was missing a little piece of tail light. It wasn't missing the whole tail light, and we all saw that when Trooper Proctor had the SUV at the Sally Port, it just missed the whole thing, right? So that's weird. The defendant insists to drive by 34 Fairview. Again, Kerry Roberts testified that she was in the car with Jennifer McCabe and Karen Reed, and what? Karen Reed said, oh, I left him at the waterfall. And Jen McCabe was the one that said, no, I saw your SUV at 34 Fairview. Let's go check over there. So that's another inconsistency, right? From their own witnesses. The other one, the Aruba incident, the defendant screaming and fighting and having a bad relationship with Mr. O'Keefe. Okay, everybody that has been in a relationship knows that people fight. There is an incident when she was drunk and he was drunk and they were in Aruba. Maybe there was a kiss from another girl or maybe there was a hug. She testifies. We have a video clip on her today. I don't know if that's a motive to kill somebody that you live with. But okay, that's the prosecution's case. Okay, then they're saying the car hit Mr. O'Keefe 24 miles per hour in reverse. And that's very strange because we have a bunch of people that testified they were there when the SUV was there. And nobody saw this car reversing out of nowhere, 24 miles per hour. Nobody saw the body. Nobody saw anything. They saw the SUV. They saw Karen in the car. So that's weird. Pieces of tail light found. We all know that, right? We all know that because we have Trooper Proctor, the lead investigator. They have a problem with the evidence because every single piece of evidence that he touched, every single thing that was sent for DNA analysis, every single thing that was found that presented itself now has questions because he's someone who showed no ethics, no respect, and just a sloppy investigation. So we have the human hair found, pieces of plastic found, the injuries to the skull, and then she's saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Even the I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, the witnesses are saying, some of them are saying, yes, I heard that. Some of them are saying, now I heard that, but in the past, they didn't write that. They didn't have a report. So the defense's case, we all know we have been focusing on that a lot. So I'm not going to go through all of it. But again, taking a quick moment here to see that Karen Reed is accused. She's not guilty until it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So she's a woman who was accused of driving drunk and hitting her boyfriend, a Boston police officer, John O'Keefe, before leaving the scene, right? So if some people maybe don't have any information of the case, that's how we do a little summary. This is Mr. O'Keefe, the victim. And this is a quote I believe his brother wrote. People talk about someone who would give you the shirt off their back, but that truly was who John was. And John, took his nephew and niece after his sister died. And he seems to be, everybody that testified about John always say awesome things. He had great friends that went to testify on his behalf. And because of his service as a police officer, because of everything he's done for his community, we thank him, we send him prayers and, all the good things in the world. But yeah, when we're talking about a criminal trial, unfortunately, we don't really focus on the victim that much because in the United States, we are focusing on the person who is the defendant because they are looking to remove her freedoms from her, to put her in prison for life, right? So we focus on the trial and the defendant and the proof. So here we go. We got the first witnesses that we saw from days 1 through 5 or whatever. Here we got Paul O'Keefe, Aaron O'Keefe. Paul is the brother of the victim. And they testified that Karen was great. And they did have some fights sometimes about little things like taking the kids to Starbucks or doing their nails or spoiling them. We got 1, 2, 3 people here. The comments in red. They're the ones that said she said something to incriminate herself, right? Stephen Seraph said, she said, this is my fault. Timothy Na'o said, I hit him. And Anthony Flamati said, she said, I hit him. But this is also there's rebuttal on it because they never wrote anything on their reports. And Stephen Seraph, for example, said he just remembered this during this trial. He never said anything ever before, right? So let me see here. I'm going to go to your comments real quick so it's not just me talking. And that is great. That is great. I've noticed some things. EMJ80s is here. Woo! ENTIRE data. Oh, okay. I see you guys are like having the things, right, in the chat. You guys are talking about the kids. That's awesome. I won't. I was just saying hi. To 30. I was just saying hi. I'm not gonna be reading all the messages from all the people who are just trying to, But anyways, love seeing you on the Young Jokes for Body Behavior Analysis spot on. Orchid Girl. Yay! Thank you. I was so humbled. That was such a generous thing for him to do because I'm just starting out, especially on this type of content. And he was like, yeah, he shared my thing and then he said, come on the show. I was very humbled and very, very cool. Okay, so here is EMJ. She spoke the other day, though. Oh yeah, you're talking about ADA. I know. Disgusting motion that goes against Carrie's basic Fifth Amendment rights. Yeah, she wanted to tell the jury she looked for a DUI attorney. Now, if you are drinking and driving, right? You're partying all night with your boyfriend, with your friends, and you're drinking and driving. You go home, you find out your boyfriend was found dead, right? And the investigator's coming over to talk to you, and you're searching for a DUI attorney. Maybe that's not a big indication that you murdered somebody and you just left them there. Because you're looking for a DUI attorney, you're thinking your problem is a DUI, a misdemeanor, and not your life in prison. So, anyways. So then we move on to the witnesses, more firefighters, more police officers, more Canton police, and we don't have state troopers yet at this point involved in the case, but we already get two conflicts of interest here with, we got Good, and we got Sergeant Lake, and we got Katie, and we got all kinds of conflicts, right? Katie is friends with the girl that lives there, Caitlin Amber. She says she doesn't know the girl. We got the Solo Cups, and they could have gone and gotten everything clean and honored the victim and did a good investigation, but they just didn't bother, right? They didn't bother. So that's why I have the Solo Cups on top of the police car. And then Gallagher, who is one of my least favorites as far as the police officers involved, because he's so arrogant when answering the questions of, why didn't you go in the house? Why didn't you ask for consent? Why didn't you check if there was any glass or any signs of struggle inside the house? The victim was found in the lawn. He was like, of course not. Absolutely not. Why? Is it because he was a Boston cop? He was like, why didn't they have probable cause? Anyways, we're gonna see a little clip of that in another part here. And then who else do we got? We got all his friends. We got O'Keefe's friends. We got the Camaranos. We got Kurt Roberts. We got the Colokithis. And we got the bartender who testified. The bartender from the Waterfall Grill. And guess what? Lolly never asked her. He never asked her, was Carrie drinking? How much did she drink? Did she appear drunk? Right? He didn't ask her that. So who else do we have? We have all these witnesses for this trial, and I'm trying to see where's the evidence. Where's the evidence? These are actually, in my opinion, very important witnesses, because these are the guys that saw the SUV or that were in the vicinity of the SUV at the time that Karen Reed was there, right? So this girl here, what's her name? Let me see. Heather Maxson, Ryan's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, I think. I don't know exactly the status of their relationship, but she said she noticed a male and a female in the SUV, and the female was driving. We got Richard Dentano saying he did not see anyone get out of the vehicle. Then we got the pig DNA, not canine DNA, but we all know there is no pig population.
So you're approaching at the same time.
This is going to be a 5-minute video about, I believe, the time, the SUV. And what's very glaring about this, these witnesses is that they were not really interviewed. They're eyewitnesses. They were there when the SUV was there. And they weren't interviewed, some for weeks, some for months, some for like a year, some never. So why? And then they want to say, oh, you guys are reading too much into it. You guys are like doing conspiracy theory. You guys are crazy to think there's something wrong. There's a crime. There's a body. There are witnesses. Why didn't you ask the witnesses what they saw? So anyways, let's watch this one.
Is that correct?
Yeah, just about, yes.
Where did that black SUV go?
Probably about kind of right in front of the house, I would say.
When you stop in front of the driveway, about how far away from you is the black SUV that you saw?
Probably a car length in front of me, a car length and a half in front of me.
What, if anything, was in between the truck, Ricky's truck, and the black SUV in front?
There's nothing, sir.
And when you came out to the truck at the end of the driveway, what, if any, other vehicles did you see in the area of the house on Fifth?
Well, before, when I went outside, I did notice another vehicle before my brother pulled up. No, he was like fully outside already, and then I went out, and it was just Ricky's truck.
And so at some point later, there was another vehicle that came up?
Prior. Correct.
About how long was it that you were at the hillside?
I would say I was probably there hour-ish, give or take.
And do you know about what time you left?
Probably around midnight.
And when you left from there, where was it that you went?
I went to pick up my sister Julie because she shot me a text asking for a ride.
And so you were at the hillside when you received the text from your sister Julie, correct?
Correct, sir.
About how long was it after you received the text from your sister to the time that you sort of jump in the truck and start to go over to there?
Probably 40 minutes or so. We kind of took our time. She said she didn't she wasn't saying come now. She just said, you know, when you get a second, you come pick me up and bring me home.
And when was it that the last person met?
The last I wouldn't know I couldn't tell you the time.
I don't remember times.
Well, the last people to leave were Auntie JJ, Uncle Matt, Sarah, and Julie.
So about what time was it that you left the home on Fairview on that particular evening?
Between 1:30 and 2 a.m.
And you left with your friend, Miss Nagel, as well as Mr. and Mrs. McCabe, correct?
Correct.
I don't know exactly what time that would be. I can't even guess. I don't know.
I don't remember times.
Yeah, so at some point, my friend Julie stood up and said, "Oh, my brother's outside." Her brother was there to pick her up. She went outside to talk to her brother. And so I looked out the window at that point, and she was outside talking to her brother. So his truck was there, and I saw another car there as well.
No, he was fully outside already, and then I went out, and it was just Ricky's truck.
And so at some point later, there was another vehicle that came up?
Prior. Correct.
Yeah, so I saw a truck, which was Julie Nagel's brother's truck, I believe. And that was a little ways, almost in front of the driveway of the house. And then a little ways in front of it, there was another car that I hadn't recognized before. It was a dark SUV-ish, and that's all I knew.
What's an SUV-ish? What's an SUV-ish? I'm just taking a quick pause here because some of you may have seen this clip already. I just wanted to play because it's the eyewitnesses for that night. And also because I had said I thought Ryan Nagel was there around 12:45, but I don't know if that's correct. Somebody said no, that he was there earlier. But to me, it doesn't really matter because all these kids were there around that time, and Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe, they all saw the SUV. They were looking out at the window. They were looking out the window like, are they gonna come in? Are they not gonna come in? And then you're telling me, between all these people, she reversed her car 24 miles per hour. She just hit him and left and had tire tracks, and then nobody saw, nobody went outside. Are you okay? Nobody. It's just dude, come on. Let me read some of your chats because without you, there is nothing. There is no channel. EMJ80s. Oh, she's okay. Anki's time for 1160. Don't waste your time, EMJ. But I'll read it. I know you're answering to somebody else. On key cycle 1162, Paul got the vehicle. On key cycle 1164, there had been 5 key cycles since she dropped him off at the house. Okay. And then we got Jenny Smith. No way. She went 24 miles per hour. Reversing that street. 2:30. She's spun out in the snow. Jessica Susie did a great job on the other show the other day. Thank you so much. That was so much fun. Christine Blankard. If Officer John O'Keefe had been out in freezing weather like Commonwealth claims, wouldn't there have been frostbite? That was a long time that he was there. If it was from 12:30-ish? Well, she was home at 12:36, so between 12-ish and 12:30-ish, she kills him, and then he's there all the way to 6 a.m. Probably. Don't worry about throw fighting. I don't think it's worth it because there's nothing we can do to, just anyways. JP Palm, an honest judge, would have shut this down. She likes her TV time too much. Yes, I love one of the participants in the Young Jerks. I think her name was Carrie. She was so much fun. She was the judge is like your mother, who is always mean to you and always yelling at you. And then when there's visitors, she's like, hello, hi, jurors, good morning. And she's all nice all of a sudden. Thank you so much, Madeline. Madeline 77. It is one of my favorites. Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's finish up this one because after this, we have a little preview on the McCrabe's video that is coming up next on the McCrabe's video. So let's finish up with the SUV talk. Come on.
Knew about
Come
it.
on, Brian
You could see
Jr.
about it.
What did you see, Brian Jr.? Tell us.
Now, similar to yourself, who, if anyone else from sort of the group of people, either in the kitchen
Sort of.
or in the house, did you observe near a window or a door that was looking out at?
I believe my uncle Matt McCabe noticed the car outside as well. Well, the last people to leave were Auntie JJ, Uncle Matt, Sarah, and Julie.
Your sister, Caitlin, was actually.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of her as my sister, like sibling. So she didn't live in the house, so she was the last person to leave.
And prior to her leaving is when your Auntie JJ, Uncle Matt, and
Yes. Yeah.
what door and how did she?
I would say the side door next to the garage.
I went off through the front door.
She crossed through the lawn a little bit, but obviously walked down the driveway because we were at the end of it.
Is it true that you said that the second time you looked out, you saw that there was a black SUV that had pulled forward,
Yes.
but the truck was no longer there?
Sure. It seems like I said that then. Yes. She went outside to talk to her brother. And so I looked out the window at that point. And she was outside talking to her brother. So his truck was there. And I saw another car there as well.
Who was in the house the second time that you looked out the window?
It would have been my mom, my dad, Brian Higgins.
How long did you stay at the Albert residence in total? From the time you got there till the time you left?
Maybe like a half hour, less than an hour.
And what time did you leave? Say 12:30, you said?
I think I said between 12:30 and 1.
Okay.
And it was just Ricky's truck. I walked down the steps through the little path and then down the driveway. And they were parked right in front of the driveway.
So they were parked right at the end of the driveway?
Yes. And they were parked right in front of the driveway.
So they were parked right at the end of the driveway?
Yes.
No, it's not what you said. Oh, okay. Wait, pause. Let me read some of your chats because before we go to the McCrabe's little sneak preview here. Stephanie Lewis. It amazes me how Jen, Matt, Brian, Higgins, and Albert, Chris, Julie, Nicole all talk about being friends with John, or John being their friend, but none of them talk about him like they care, calling him the guy. Absolutely. And that's how, and that's why I do like body language, and I do like to pay attention on these things, because even when we don't really know the names or we don't notice, we understand the vibe. We have a gut feeling of what the person is passing on to us emotionally, right? Most of us have that ability to feel like what are their intentions, right? To see through people. So that's something that happened to me when I was watching Jen McCabe's. I think Jen McCabe was probably the first video I made on this channel in terms of the body language, because I was amazed with her. I was like, wow, she says all these things, but her face completely says another thing. Her body language is so aggressive. And I thought it was very interesting to break that down. But none of them showed true grief, which we saw from his real friends, the Camaranos and the Colokithians. We saw that they were bothered to be there. They were upset. It hurt them to speak about certain things, because that's what grief is. And grief is different for everybody. But it's not consistent that this whole parade of people, from the McAlberts to the McCrabe's to everybody, go and show up and they're just so aggressive and condescending and just argumentative with the defense, that they're not there to seek justice. And I understand they have been, harassed, right? They have been harassed by a lot of people. But the reason why they have been harassed is because of their own response in the beginning of the case, right? Especially with Jen McCabe and going after reporters and doing videos and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not saying that's cool. I'm not saying that people should do that. I'm just saying it is amazing that they don't show that grief. They have to remind themselves, oh, we're supposed to say he's our friend. We're supposed to say he's our friend. And anyways, to Hurdy, Bianca, thoughts on the ME being vague, helping the defense. I think the ME was very courageous because she does seem to be, and somebody told me she was substituting somebody that day, that's not her usual post and somebody else usually works there, which probably, I don't know if that person is more connected with the cops or anything. She was being very courageous to state her opinion, and she did try to get more evidence because I guess she was like, okay, if this is really a homicide, let me get more evidence, and they didn't have it to provide it to her. I don't think she's helping the defense, but she is being vague. I believe that in another world or in another situation, she could have been a little bit more firm in certain aspects of the questions, like, can a smooth surface hit somebody and shatter all over their arm and create scratch marks and bite marks? And, you know, she said what she said. She said what she said. She said, not consistent with your typical pedestrian versus car case. But she was testifying on behalf of the prosecution. So, you know, she was just vague, but she was honest. She wasn't hiding anything, apparently. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Tell me what you guys think about that one. We got Jeff Williams. My friend Jeff Williams creating havoc in the chat. How cold was it? 0 below. LOL. Are you happy to be here? I don't know about that. Tony's place. Those Boston cops are so crooked. Been that way forever. BB Collins, and yet none of them saw Higgins' Jeep. None of them saw Officer John O'Keefe laying on the lawn. Nobody saw her hurt anything. And now we know that Karen was back in town house by 12:36. And that is a huge, huge thing in her defense. And who brought that in? A trooper, a witness from the prosecution. Trooper Nicholas, the one that said, that one. So yeah, that's huge for her defense that she was home at 12:36. All those people were there. Caitlin left at like 1:45. Jen McCabe left at like 2 a.m. No, the opposite. And what happened? Nobody saw nothing. Bandits. But remember, Canton is that town where time stands still. Snow is hot water. Is dry night is left up. Wait. Hot water is dry, right is left, up is down, and so on and on. When you get hit by a car, it makes your face look like it was bitten in, Higgs. Yes, exactly. So EMJ80s also is correcting me, saying Ryan was there 12:25. All right, I have to correct my video because I was mistaken about that. And I feel sorry for Brian Jr. I feel sorry for a lot of them, especially the younger ones, because, you know, I don't know the situation. I only know what I see, and what I see the trial. That's all I know. And yeah, Brian Jr., I definitely have a lot in common with him because he said he's an introvert and he gets anxious with a lot of people, and I could feel the same way. 230, confused by your delusions. Okay, that's not for me. I know that's not for me. So now, without further ado, let's take a quick sneak peek on the McCraves.
There's nothing evil here.
Robert's number.
Was I asked what she said? They're in shock and horror. Of shock? I was in a state of shock.
While you did that, sir, Julie Nagel never said, what was that? Did she?
Julie say that.
She never said she had seen a black object, correct?
I did not hear her say that.
It's terrifying when you go through an experience and you're in shock, and her hysterical. So it's a bit of a hysterical scene telling you, I said the taillight was cracked.
This is another example of him screwing up your words. Correct?
You'd have to ask Trooper Proctor.
No, absolutely not.
They're in shock and horror. Do not recall deleting any phone calls at all. I would have no reason to delete anything.
The Jeep was right there. On the edge of the driveway, right there. I believe it was a two-door Jeep.
Okay, it looks like a part of the Jeep would have been blocking the driveway?
No, where the mailbox is, the Jeep was right there. It was not blocking the driveway.
The two of us had all this information that just kept coming back to us. And it was...
As evidence revealed itself,
Let me go back to the microphone. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little clip with the McCreeves. And somebody was telling me in the comments, you're saying their name wrong and you were spelling their name wrong. And I am doing it on purpose because I believe that means like kind of like evil and and I'm just, it's a joke. It's a joke. I don't know these people, guys. Relax, okay? Now I'm gonna tell you guys something about the chat because I don't have what do you call it, mods yet. I don't have mods yet. And you guys better be respectful. And you know who I'm talking about, the one and only, okay? Everybody's nice and you don't have to agree with what each other say. But if anybody starts being disrespectful, especially to my favorite people here, like EMJ and the people who are always participating here, I'm gonna have to find a way to block you. So I'm just letting you guys know right now, don't be disrespectful. Don't call anybody names. And I don't know what's happening, but I'm gonna look into it later. Okay, so let me read some of your chats here. EMJ 80s. Hi, Bob. Oh, Bob, there you are. Exactly. Bob, I saw you on the Jerks Friday. Awesome. I'm so happy to see your name there. Have been wondering where B's personal fan club was. Ask Bob. Bianca could be a psychologist, a lawyer, and a magazine cover model as well. All right, I want all that money. I want all that money. I'm not getting any of those incomes. Those income sources sound great. Tony's place, none of the police ever referred to John as an officer, only Mr. Total disrespect. Yep. BB Collins, I love Microdot's work. Okay, Jessica was saying, Bianca, have you seen Microdot's recreation animation of this case? It's a wonderful visual of what happened. And I have not seen it because I have spent so much time doing these videos, but I will definitely check it out. EMJ. Jen's shoulder and head couldn't lie like her mouth could. Her face is just, you can't tell it to your face, lady. Tell it to your face. I did not delete any phone calls. Can I see it? Do you have it? What I thought you were reading from a report. No, Mrs. McCabe, I'm asking you about your memory. Well, can I see it? Can I see my memory? Anyways, EMJ, I didn't think Jen could get any scarier. Ask Bob. Turtle Boy is an investigative journalist. He has exposed many stories. Yeah, he does have a lot of material out there, all the motions and all the stuff, for sure. No hate is allowed. Exactly. No hate is allowed, guys. Not about me. Like, you can disagree, but don't be mean to each other on the chat. We're here having fun, If you don't agree and you think Carrie Reed is guilty, fine. You're not in the jury, but if you were, you would have your chance to vote guilty. I don't think they proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. Jeff Williams think they proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. Fine. That's totally fine, and you're welcome here. But please do not be disrespectful. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Michael Aaron sent a link, which I'm not gonna go into it right now. But anyway, one more person that we didn't play from the McCabe, and I try to be very light on her, but we're just gonna use this phrase
at the house. So he's being harassed he was not at the house when John was there, so I drove him home. So people are harassing him, saying he was at the house when it's not true.
When you speak about harassment, what specifically?
All right. So then we move on. This is just like half of the prosecution case. We've seen a lot of people. So at this point, we've heard from all the people that were there around 12 a.m. And now we get to a very important testimony, Carrie Roberts. She's been just straightforward, honest testimony, just like, just you can see the difference between someone who's trying to manipulate the defense when they're cross-examining them, who's trying to play word games, and someone who's just being straightforward. So let's hear from her, Carrie Roberts.
I pulled in the driveway behind Karen's car.
Hi,
and
Fest.
Karen and Jen are in the car talking. I'm still on Bluetooth so I can hear them.
Thank
and
you.
Karen said that she remembered leaving him at Waterfall. And Jen said, no, I saw you pull up to my sister's house. And then
See?
at some point in the conversation, she said, what about my taillight? What about my taillight? And I looked, and there was a piece missing.
So how close to the vehicle were you when you were making those observations?
Right in front of it. There was one piece, like a rectangle encapsulated, like whatever was broken. I remember there was one piece of metal sort of sticking out. So if it was an encasement for a light of some sort, I remember looking at it and the piece was sort of sticking out and I thought someone's going to catch their sleeve on that or something.
The laser point in front of you, right, your attention, where you were looking.
That's where the metal piece I was describing
That little part on top.
What's depicted in this photograph on the screen is that consistent with what you observed in Mr. O'Keefe's driveway and Mr. Cape's driveway when you saw it.
Well, caked in snow, but yes.
Well, after the snow, yes.
Yes.
And I'm going to find out what's next to them next week.
And that is the little piece they couldn't find to reconstruct.
He might be walking home, or if you thought he got hit by a plow, and Jen and Karen wanted to go back to 34 Fairview where they were at. Jen said she saw her pull up to 34 Fairview the night before. So Karen really wanted to go back there. I was the one that said, no, let's drop a car off, go to Meadows and look through the house, and then we'll start looking if he's not in the house. So that's what we did. We got in the car and we were going to head back to Jen's sister's house.
And so this conversation, as far as the defendant, as you're testifying, really wanting to go to Fairview, when did that occur in relation to when you got to Mr. O'Keefe's?
On the way from Jen McCabe's house to John's house in the car.
So this is over the Bluetooth as you're driving?
Yes, Karen said I left him at Waterfall, and Jen said, no, I saw you pull up in front of my sister's.
And so after coming out of Mr. O'Keefe's house, you exit the same way that you entered?
Yes.
Come out the garage door, get into your car?
Yes.
So just using the laser pointer to direct your attention to those arms.
That is Jen McCabe. That's Karen Reed. That's me. Coming out of his nose and his mouth.
No, and notice her grief as well, right? Notice Carrie Roberts' grief as well, because John was her friend. Now, Higgins and Brian Albert, no, you guys are not fooling anyone. Not anyone. Not a one.
And his right eye it looked like a golf ball. His left eye was fine. The right eye looked like a golf ball.
Now, you mentioned that you wiped some snow from around his head. What, if anything else, did you observe on the rest of his body?
He was bleeding in the back of the head. So when I was wrapping I don't know why I was wrapping blankets around his head, but I didn't know. He had a cut on the back of his head.
And that is Carrie Roberts. So here we got a little slide from what the prosecution is using as the evidence for the thought of, right? They're saying that Karen Reed thought of, premeditated killing Mr. O'Keefe. And what do they use for that? They use the fact that he may have hugged or kissed this girl. I was going to call her Lovey Hug because I don't have her name here apparently. But Laura Sullivan's sister. And here we got on the bottom, Brian Higgins saying, but did they bang? Because that's all. Did they bang? Like he's 5 years old. Like he's 5 years old. So before we get to the girls and their testimony, let's just read some of your chats because they're all super to me. Okay, just because you guys are here. Wait, let me see. Oh, Bob. Okay, I saw that. I saw that. We got EMJ 80s. They could not have had a better witness after Cruella McCabe. Oh, I'm gonna have to use that one. Carrie showed what real emotion and honesty looks like. Exactly. You don't have to say, I'm a truthful and honest person. You don't have to do that. You just are, right? Ashley, I made it. Welcome, Ashley. I'm so happy that you're here. BB Collins, I'm so sorry to hear that. My son was hit by a car, and that's awful. And all of his injuries were from the hips down, especially his legs with the bumper hit. John was not hit by a car, in my opinion. Please, everybody, send BB some love. That's a very difficult situation. Michael, okay, you're telling me the link was just popcorn chat emojis. I didn't get the emojis, but they're probably on YouTube. That's what happened. And then Ask Bob was saying, BB, I think her husband Matt deleted all of those. He's an IT guy. Right, but if he's an IT guy, can't he like make them disappear? That's not possible. Like from the motherboard, from the clouds. From the clouds, you can't make things disappear forever. And here we got Tony's Place. I'm so sorry to hear that as well. I was hit by a car doing 20 miles per hour. I was bruised up all over. where were John's bruises? Right. Did anybody start speculating yet? What do you guys really think happened that night? I speculate. I'm thinking maybe, and of course, I don't know anything that happened, but I'm thinking maybe there was like an argument possibly between Higgins and John outside, and then the dog was outside and got involved. I don't know. It's just I don't think we have enough proof, to convict this woman for the rest of her life. Stephanie Lewis, I still can't believe Lolly tried to make a big deal that Kara Reed went into her boyfriend's house with her shoes on. Because, okay, so yeah, I killed him, so now it doesn't matter that I have the shoes on anymore. Because John didn't like that. I think that was evidence of her guilt. So weird. So weird. Ashley said, I felt pretty bad for Carrie. You could see she was hurting. Yeah, that's true. Ask Bob, I just hope they arrest all the real murderers after Carrie is acquitted. Yes, I do hope so. EMJ 80s, yes, it definitely wasn't planned, and I think Chloe would have only got involved if Brian was there. Yeah, but the thing is, if Chloe did do that, let's say, wouldn't it have been better for them to report it as like an accident or whatever than to do all these things, to rehome the dog, rehome the home, rehome the phone, do the butt calls, and do all these things? I don't know. John's place. Maybe John was working with the feds to get evidence against crooked cops. Just a thought. Interesting. That's what we're left with, right? We're left with suppositions that just trying to formulate a thought that makes sense because the prosecution didn't do that for us. And I have nothing. I don't know Kara Reed personally. I have no, how do they say it? No something in the fight. There's a saying for that. No dog in the fight? I don't like dog fights. I don't like that saying. Anyways, I don't know her. So if they presented a case where I was like, wow, I think, pretty compelling. I think she did it. I wouldn't be here like saying she didn't do it, but I couldn't possibly put somebody in prison for the rest of their lives based on what we have seen so far. Ask Bob, Brian Albert is so evil. Yes, I agree with you. He's like, when I do clips on him and I have to rewatch him, it really bothers me. It really does. Skin in the game. That's what it is. TSM 74. Thank you so much for your help. I don't have no skin in this game. Okay? That's what it is, guys. Okay, more things. I don't have a horse in this race, and I also don't like horse races. I love animals. I don't like anything where the animals are involved. Can we get, skin in the game is better for me. And then we got Kowalski. I think Higgins hit him with the plow, his Jeep. I think he meant to scare him and hit him by accident. Could have been. Yeah, because he had a plow. So now we're going to go to the girls real quick to talk about this thing that happened in Aruba. Laura Sullivan and Marietta Sullivan. Let's hear from the Gossip Girl time.
Saw my sister. She came out and she was visibly upset.
Your Honor, in regard to the instruction that you would request about this, maybe.
All right, thank you. So, jurors, you're about to hear. You may not take the defendant's prior acts as a substitute for proof that the defendant committed the crimes charged here, but you may consider the act solely on the limited issue of the state of mind of the defendant and the nature of her relationship with John O'Keefe, as it might go to motive or intent.
How would you describe her demeanor when she comes in? Sure.
No, I'll allow that.
She was frustrated.
And at some point, did you have a conversation, without regard to what the conversation was, at some point did you have a conversation with her about something that had just happened?
Yes.
Now, following that conversation with your sister, at some point subsequent to that, Mr. O'Keefe come back out to the pool area?
After I spoke with her, yes, he came out to the pool area.
And you know about how long a period of time it was between the time that your sister came out to the pool area and Mr. O'Keefe came out to the pool area?
I mean, I would say approximately 20 minutes, but I don't really know exact timing.
the defendant committed these acts, that she must also have committed the offenses with which she's been charged. You can only use the evidence for the limited purpose of...
He was coming from the outside doors into the lobby.
Is that where the pool bar is located?
Opposite side. Yes.
And when you see him come in, who, if anyone, do you see with him initially?
Nobody with him. And was, whoa, you okay? I actually said, whoa, Godfather, are you okay? But yeah, he was stumbling into the lobby.
And did you go over to him at that point?
I did. I went up to him and I gave him a hug.
And what happened then?
I pulled back. He was glassy-eyed, looking above me. We never made eye contact. He was looking above me. It looked like he was looking for someone. I asked him, where are you going? Assuming that he would be coming to the pool bar to meet us. He kept looking around and he indicated that he was going that way. As I'm going back in, I hear someone yell, who the fuck?
Whoa!
And as I come around the corner, I see Mr. O'Keefe walking toward a woman. And he said, excuse me. He said, calm down, that's Laura's little sister. I said, hi, nice to meet you. That's when Miss Reed's head snapped up and she very loudly told me to go.
And just to be clear, when you say Miss Reed, this is someone that you became familiar with as the trip went along?
This was my first interaction with her.
You were not present at the Waterfall Bar and Grill on January 28th of 2022.
I was not.
Why are you here? Why are you here?
You were not present at 34 Fairview Road in Pembroke, Massachusetts on February 8th of 2022
Yes.
to interview you?
Oh, look at Karen.
Nothing further.
Like, get out. Why are you here, lady? I mean, okay, I don't know this lady, so let me not start. So ask Bob, these Aruba women were awful and jealous of Karen. Disgusting. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that it was just a hug. You know, they were all drinking. He was the godfather. Maybe she had a crush on him. And then she saw him at the lobby. It's like, she's drunk. You know, he's drunk. And maybe they were like, you know, a little bit. And then Karen's like, what the heck is going on? Who knows, right? But maybe, I mean, otherwise we're saying that Karen just out of nowhere just pretended, like, imagine this story. Jeff said she tells it like it is. Of course he does. Leah, why are you here? Why are you here? And why did we have to listen to like 3 hours of testimony, Lolly? What if anything? Who if anyone? What if anything? Who if anyone? Just to hear that. I sometimes I go all the way to the end of the testimony to see what is the relevance. Like where is the question that matters? Where's the question that matters? So okay, so let me see here some of your comments before we go to the next little episode we have. Okay. EMJ 80s, the lengths that Proctor went to for these interviews, and he couldn't even be bothered to interview everyone that was actually there that night. Please answer that. Right? Because if he didn't do anything at all and he's just like completely incompetent, fine. But he traveled to see them and to do a proper interview to get a motive, to try to put something together. And the people that were there that night, that saw the SUV, that were there present at the time the prosecution claimed she hit him, were not interviewed. So I rest my case. That's it. Why are you here? Ask Bob. Watching The Chosen on my TV, but chatting on my phone. I love The Chosen. I thought it was so well made. And usually I don't like anything that is like back in the day, but it was very well made. Stephanie Lewis. I think Brian A, Colin and Chloe fought John. And it had to do with Karen. I believe Brian A had done a lot of favors for powerful people and called in all those favors to cover up. Anything is possible, right? It's all possible because we really don't know. We don't really have like a coherent case. So it's possible. Colleen says Chloe was collateral damage. Nobody thinks she killed Brian, but seems like there was a fight and she jumped in. I hope she's been rehomed with better people. I do too. I do, because it's not the dog's fault that they were, you know, trained in a house with anger and people that are like Brian Albert. It passes on to the dog. Your dog is your mirror. I don't know where my dog is, but he's my mirror. You know, people will see your personality through your dog. So keep that in mind. EMJ says, the little sister here is bitter. Her face gave Jen a run for her money. Yeah, she was like, hey, I don't like Karen. BB Collins says, I don't know. I think it was planned based on how hard they were trying. They were all trying to get John to come to the house and separate it from Karen. All of that business was strange, and I'd like to know what he was working on. Interesting. Wow, that's very interesting. All right, so now we're gonna go to a 5-minute clip of the investigation, because due to the investigation of this case, the prosecution is in a very dire position, right? If the jurors look at Michael Proctor and how he handled the investigation, they can possibly disregard everything else that was presented, because then the tail lights are a question mark, the DNA is a question mark, everything's a question mark, because he was involved. But he wasn't alone, guys. The investigation was a mess all around. So let's watch the investigation clip.
I'll allow it. Was she treated differently?
Absolutely not. Like I've said before, we follow the facts and the evidence, the open mind.
So in April of 2022, for the first time, you attributed the phrase, "This is my fault. I can't believe this happened," to my client, correct?
That's correct.
But nowhere in your official report did you say that.
That's correct.
And nowhere in your interview with Trooper Proctor the next day did you say that.
That's correct.
You think that was a pretty important omission on your part?
It was an oversight.
You never saw or otherwise observed or located a single piece of taillight material, did you?
No.
You certainly didn't see 45 pieces of broken plastic and taillight material, did you?
No.
You never located or otherwise observed John O'Keefe's missing shoe?
No.
Or any other clothing of his?
No.
Officer Schrapp, did you ever want to look inside the house for that missing shoe?
No.
That never crossed your mind?
No.
You think that might have been a smart thing to do at the time?
Objection, Your Honor.
As evidence revealed itself, due to
glass.
Absolutely not.
Because you made up your mind initially where that glass came from.
Objection.
You can answer that, sir.
No.
Did you search the house for any other matching glasses?
No.
Matter of fact, you didn't search the house for any physical items, did you?
Of course not.
Is that because that house belonged to a Boston police officer?
No, it's because it requires probable cause, as you know, which we did not have.
Or at least you didn't think you had at that time?
We knew we didn't have it.
Did you seek it from a judge?
I'm familiar with what probable cause is.
Did you seek a probable cause warrant from a judge?
No, I did not.
Right. You literally said that you hoped that Karen Reed, the subject of your investigation, the woman sitting to my left, about 7 feet from me, that she would just die.
What if any observations did you make, and what if any, just with physical observations, what if any physical observations did you make of Mr. O'Keefe's face and body in general?
His face, I observed the swelling and the discoloration being produced through the blood pooling in the eyelids.
So with that particular time frame and the language that you used, what sort of information had you gathered to that point, and why would you say or use that particular language particularly in your description to the defendant?
This was, 16, 18 hours later.
Inside the house, did you photograph any part of the house?
No.
Did you have a cell phone with you?
Yes.
Has a camera on it?
Yes.
You could have photographed it, you chose not to.
I would have needed permission or a warrant.
And you got neither?
That's correct.
You sought neither?
That's correct.
Did you photograph any of the individuals in the home for instance, for injuries or anything like that?
No. There was only one witness he was interviewing.
Who's that?
Jen McCabe.
Is that chick a smoke? Again, 4146 question mark. I respond EH. I respond again, nutbag, as Chief would say. I also respond with, she's got a leaky balloon knot, leaks poo.
And what, if anything, is that in reference to?
Again, to Mr. Reed's some medical conditions there.
You know how those cameras work as far as when they turn on and when they turn off?
My understanding is that Ring surveillance video is triggered to be recorded through motion. So if the camera detects motion.
We continue.
If you could, please. Okay. What, if any, conclusions did you come to through the course of your investigation?
So on Saturday, January 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:45.
So you can look at your report, but you can't read your report.
I made my conclusions based on what they asked me to do.
Okay.
The vehicle was traveling at a higher acceleration when. Sorry.
Again, unprofessional comments I should not have made, and that I'm not proud of.
So where's your phone?
I do not have that phone anymore.
You destroyed that phone, haven't you?
No, I threw the phone away.
Well, that's destroying the phone, isn't it?
I had every right to do that.
I didn't ask you about your rights. I asked you what you did.
Objection.
Sustained.
You destroyed the phone by removing the SIM card. Correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
You got it? Did you pull the SIM card out?
Objection.
Did you pull the SIM card out of your phone?
Your Honor, to the best of my recollection, if I did take the SIM card out, I would have, when I threw it away, if I was going to take it out, I would break it or cut it. But I did not wipe the phone. I did not take anything else off it. But if I was going to throw the phone away, that's why I would have done.
Okay.
No, exactly.
Again, unprofessional messages I should not have sent. I don't have an explanation other than they're regrettable and it's something I'm not proud of, the language I used.
May I approach to retrieve your?
Yes.
Oh, second. Text communications among your friend group. With reference,
I don't anymore.
You destroyed that phone, haven't you?
No, I threw the phone away.
Well, that's destroying the phone, isn't it?
After processing, it was stored in the evidence.
Hold on. Okay, here you go. I had to put it on mute because my little dog was barking nonstop. So I had to go get him. I said, I'll be right out. We'll do something. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Is he? Oh my God. I love so much. I love so much. Whisper. Say, hi, everybody. I'm Whisper. I'm Whisper. Okay. Stay here. I'll be done soon. And we'll go outside, Whisper. So anyways, guys, listen. There is someone in the chat that likes to just hang out and disagree with everybody. I don't know if he's serious or not. So please just don't don't get bothered by it if it's too much for you guys. If you want to talk about it, fine. I don't know why he's in this channel because we're pretty pro defense here. But anyways, all right, yeah, tomorrow. Leah say tomorrow that will be confirmed. Not sure what happened, but it wasn't a car accident. I can't wait for the ARCA doctors, PhDs, engineers, all of the things to testify because it's going to be awesome. Oh yes, Lucinda, Whisper is gorgeous. He's such a good boy and he's so nice. He's so handsome. I love him so much. This is Brian Higgins' quote. Please feel free to share. If I would have done that, that's what I would have done. Okay? Yes, Dr. Wolf. Does anybody know if Dr. Wolf? He's so. Anyways, Dr. Wolf. We're gonna hear from him. Doctor. Look at me. I'm touching my hair. Oh yeah, Dr. Wolf. Oh yeah, Dr. Wolf. Anyways, look at Ask Bob saying, the chief of police, where'd it go? The chief of police lived across the street with cameras, 3 of them. He gave the CPD solo cups, but deleted his camera footage, the definition of corruption. Yes, he could have kept the cameras. We have testimony about the cameras. The GPS on the camera, something wasn't working. Just so many things. Okay. All right, Leah. Good. Yeah. She said, nope, I'll talk about it with anyone. It's just what it is, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff is always here, gracing us with his presence and his disagreements. He disagrees about everything, and that's fine. That's fine. Tony's place, the defense is already running a much cleaner, efficient, and concise case than the prosecution. They were a mess. Yes, it's like, this is what our theory is. Let's call the doctor to tell you what our theory is. Let's call the accident reconstructionist. Let's call the IT, not IT, he's a forensic expert, Robert Green. Let's talk to the ME, and this is what we think. We just need 2 days. We need like 2 days, three days. Leah, I'm telling you, I'm a mortician. That's interesting. Never had a body in an accident with those injuries. Wow, very interesting, Leah. See, we got first-hand experience here. First-hand experience. So now let me see what we got now after Brian Higgins, so I can just let you guys know before we're almost done. We got like 10 minutes from video left, meaning, we stop sometimes to talk. Okay, so real quick, we're gonna go through the evidence, the experts. What did the prosecution? This is the case against Karen Reed. That's the name of this video. I wanted to make a concise summary of what even happened, because the way the prosecution presented this was so difficult to follow. So then who else did we hear from? We heard from Dr. Justin Rice, who was the emergency medicine physician. He testified about the blood being collected so that it was processed so that they can go towards the DUI charge, right, against Karen Reed. But he doesn't remember treating her. He didn't collect her blood. He didn't really write a report. The nurses did. That's fine. That's all fine. That's all fine. But that was his testimony. Okay, we got Dr. Gary Faller, pathologist. He's just explaining how they have to separate the blood from the plasma to go towards the testing. The hospital doesn't really do that testing. They send it somewhere else. Then we hear from Nicholas Roberts, the toxicology unit. He does testify that they do they do like the blood level, they test the plasma, and they determine a level of alcohol. They translate that to what we know as the 0.8, 0.08, whatever. And he said that from the 3 levels, they go from low, medium, and high. She was maybe above level in one of them. So not very concise evidence to put someone in prison for the rest of their lives for the DUI, being a murder charge. Then we got Michael Trotter, who was the superintendent of public works, who, by the way, he was the one that supervised the routes of the plows. So Michael Proctor called him asking for the name of the person who was plowing 34 Fairview in the middle of the night that night. Why did Michael Proctor do that? Why wasn't Michael Proctor Why wasn't Michael Proctor interviewing the witnesses that were present, that saw the SUV, but he was going after the plow routes to talk to who? To Lucky, who testified on Friday, probably, right? And then last but not least, we had Louis Jutras, the IT director. He said the GPS technology on the town DPW trucks wasn't working. Suspicious. Listen, Jeff. Listen to the evidence we're talking about. Then we get the next slide. We get Kevin O'Hara testifying. He's the one that went there to search for the evidence. But they told him, listen, you're going to find a hat. You're going to find some taillights right here where we left them. Just go there and actually look for it. Then we get more. I like this guy. I like him. I like Kevin O'Hara. I thought he was trying to be a little bit light on the situation, but the defense was not having it with him. Then we got Maureen Hartnett, who said she's a forensic scientist. She's the one who took swabs. She said she took 2 swabs and rubbed on the clothing instead of taking different swabs, separately for everything. Didn't test for DNA. So I was like, where's the DNA, lady? Where is it? Then we get Ashley Voller, forensic scientist. She's the one that does the reconstruction of the taillight. And notice they're missing that little parts that Carrie Roberts said she saw missing. That's what she saw, right? Then we got Christina Henley, who was the person that she found materials were consistent in color and other characteristics with the taillight portion. She examined and also examined a broken cocktail glass found near O'Keefe's body and 5 pieces of glass found in the rear bumper. Defense attorney questioned if a piece of glass submitted as evidence matched the pieces of the broken cup, and she said no. All right. So now we got more evidence. We got more evidence, or what they presented as evidence, right? What else did we get? We get these experts next. We got Buchanan, we got Proctor, we got the voicemails. Now let me take a pause here on the voicemails because we haven't really talked about the voicemails. The angry voicemails that people were saying, "Oh my God!" when they play these voicemails on Karen calling him names, everybody's gonna lose it and they're gonna say that she's guilty. I was like, not really, because women sometimes when you're angry and you're in a relationship and you're trying to get somebody. You're watching his kids and he's like drunk somewhere after probably kissing a girl and she was angry. And I was like, I don't hold that against her at all. And guess what? Most of the jury are women. So what do you ladies think? Do you think that people were like, oh my God, these voicemails were the worst? I don't think they were the worst at all. And now we got one of our troopers that also testified the taillight was not missing the whole thing. It was just a little piece. So let's hear from Nicholas Barros, police sergeant.
Some damage to the right rear taillight. To my best ability and recollection, that taillight was not completely damaged. It was cracked and a piece was missing, but not completely damaged.
And then beyond the taillight area?
Okay, that was it. That was the most important thing he said there. Then we get these guys. We got Nicholas Bradford, Tess Chart. We got Sergeant Brian Gallerini. We got Andre Porto. We got Brian Tully. We got Jessica Hyde. All right. What did they testify and was it important? Okay. The 2 people on top, they both testified that John O'Keefe's DNA was found on the taillight pieces outside, found at 34 Fairview. Okay, so they found the taillight pieces. They swabbed for DNA. They found Mr. O'Keefe's DNA there. Okay. Brian Tully, he said that he's suggesting Carrie Reed return to 34 Fairview sometime after 5:18. Andre Porto, let me see what he said. Hold on one second. Okay. He testified DNA profile found in a drinking glass at the scene matched the O'Keefe. Sergeant Brian Gallerini just was there to say that he took the DNA from Proctor and Sergeant Buchanan. Okay. Then we have these 2 testified that Hoslong was not done at 2:27. So I called them the Jennifer McCabe's defense team and I misspelled that. And then we got, go back. Why so fast? We got Nicholas Gallerino, who actually testified that Karen Reed, wait, no, we're not there yet. Testified that Karen Reed was at the house at 12:36. So why is it going so fast? There you go. And that was a great point for the defense, right? So he goes and he testifies about the text messages and they are using that as a motive, right? Oh, she was arguing with John. They were having a bad relationship, blah, 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 blah. Motive. Well, okay. So the text messages, I don't get anything from it either because it was just like, are you in this? Are you not in this? You've been cold for a while. What's going on? And I'm sick of your ass and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So here he says, kill me because he's like, I can't believe I have to come in and read these text messages, right? This is what my life has been reduced to. But the most important thing for me was that he said that her phone connected to John O'Keefe's Wi-Fi at 12:36 a.m. So let's hear from him. now we get to the end of the prosecution case. We get to the ME testimony, and we get to Dr. Irene Stonebridge, who both testified that Mr. O'Keefe had several trauma, right? She says, the ME, Dr. Irene Scorbello, she says, I'm responsible for what goes on the death certificate, and unless I have enough information, clear, convincing evidence, I cannot determine a manner. And John O'Keefe did not have the classic injuries from a pedestrian collision, she said. So there's more detail here in the little writing about what they said, but very powerful testimony from the ME to say, it's not consistent, Lally. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Don't worry, we have one more clip before we go. I just want to say thank you very much for everybody. Wait, we're not there yet. And if you can, please share the videos or the clips, or make, like, subscribe, make a comment, because it's helping me to grow, and it's helping YouTube to suggest my channel. That way I can make more videos, because they are time consuming. I do enjoy a lot, but anything you guys can do to help me is greatly appreciated. And I'm going to read some of your chats before I play the last clip, which is about 3 minutes, and it's another song that I've created for the case that will show everything that we've been through so far. So then we are ready and prepared to start a fresh week tomorrow, and listen to Dr. Wolf, and listen to Dr. Rentschler, and hopefully be wowed by their amazing life experience and profession. So let's see. BB Collins, I love the ME. Yeah, she was great. Straightforward. I'm not getting bullied here by these Boston police cops. I'm not. The ME, EMJ 80s. The ME is another one who couldn't hide her feelings. Her face said it all. Yep. She was like, dude, don't ask me that. Don't ask me that. Tony Splays, if the jury is thinking the same as the majority in the country, it will result in at least a hung jury, no conviction. I think I don't know if we're just like in an echo chamber. I feel like the people who are against Karen Reed are like mostly people on Twitter with no pictures and not really like, I don't know. I don't really see critical thinking going on into those opinions, because there isn't real evidence. We have a lot of possibilities. It's possible. Even the ME is like, it's possible, right? Then we have Stephanie. I think the Commonwealth overpromised and underdelivered regarding the text message and the voicemails were nothing the Commonwealth made them out to be, just everyday arguments. Exactly. Just everyday arguments. Leah, love the ME. Scorbello. Much love to you, Scorbello. Dr. Scorbello. Then we got Tiasman. Yes, teleport plus cop who was there to tow the car, said tail light was cracked at 4 p.m. wasn't broken to 40 pieces. You have to at least admit that. Cracked at okay, I have to admit that. Who has to admit that? I don't know. Who are you talking to? Are you guys arguing in the chat? I never know when you guys are arguing in the chat. Christine, there was a lot. Okay. Okay, so we are getting to the end. Almost 2 hours live. I'm so happy that we were able to make it. I know we do like once a week or something, but at least I can make something nice for you guys. And we're gonna go out with my final song. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the chat, in the comment section, what you think. Here you go, final song.
Morning, jurors.
Any sort of, what if anything?
Objection. Can you answer that?
That's, who, if anyone?
I do have to ask you those 3 questions.
What if anything?
Good morning, jurors.
September 4th was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Any sort of, what if anything?
Approach.
Yes.
Approach.
Yes. Good morning, Ms. Reed.
Any sort of, what if anything?
Move on from the general description of the house, please.
Approach.
Yes.
Approach.
Yes. I'll allow that.
Thank you. Come on, press.
Who, if anyone else? Who, if anyone else?
Objection, Your Honor.
And I'm going to be asking the question. Was there something confusing about my question? Do you want to stick with that?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
Use whatever words you want to. Rehomed, rehoused, whatever. But you got rid of it.
And good morning, Your Honor. David Yannetti for Karen Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Yannetti. Good morning, Ms. Reed. Good morning.
September 4th was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Objection.
May we approach? May we approach?
The investigation.
Approach.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth rest.
Is that her name? Is that her name?
Just briefly. Just briefly. Just briefly.
So I'll allow that.
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Objection.
Sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth rest.
Objection.
Sustained.
Objection.
Sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth rest.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Mr. Lally's question wasn't objected to. Is there an objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the objection sustained.
Objection. Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth rest.
Next question.
Adam Lally for the Commonwealth. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, Your Honor. Laura McLaughlin for the
Good
Commonwealth.
morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Of course, there are other friends, but you...
Mr. Yannetti, please no more, of course.
Of course, Your Honor.
Did she ignore the text, Mr. Higgins?
That wasn't very difficult.
Objection, Your Honor.
Did it fly out of your hand unexpectedly into a trash bag, sir?
Al Jackson.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson. Good morning, Miss Little.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth rest. Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth rest.
Bye, guys. Good night. I'll see you guys next time. Follow me on Twitter so we can get notifications and I don't have to go to all the comments. Okay? Mwah. Have a good night, guys.